Hi, I'm Bruce Moody, and I just received my Hilltopper electric 350 watts wheel from Clean Republic, and the battery pack that goes in with the parts, and I thought I would show you how I'm going to install it all today. So let's get to it. We'll just pull this out. We have the battery, pretty simple. It's got instructions here about off, not in use, on, right, in charge. So that's kind of nice. And right here is your multi-cable and your charging cable. So I'm gonna go ahead and charge this. That way it's ready to ride when I'm done. Okay, next let's unbox the wheel and the battery charger, which is right here. It's got the cables, cable ties, battery charger. We'll set that aside and we'll take the wheel out for now. Okay, here's the wheel and the electric 350 watt motor. It comes with some PVC pipes to protect the bolts and nuts. So I just take my thumbs here and spread that out and slide that off. Then flip this over, do the same to this one, and just slide it off like that, and you're ready for the next step. All right, here we have the charger. Indicates green when it's plugged in. And then you just take the female round in and this male round in on the battery, push those together, and then you have the switch right here that needs to be turned to on, and then the battery charger will turn red while it's charging and then green when it's done charging. Okay, so here we have the wheel, and the wires are attached right here by rubber bands, so I'll just snip those off, take that out of the side, and it's ready to be put on the front fork. All right, I'm ready to disconnect the old front wheel from the fork, but before I do that, I need to disconnect the brakes. So on the front brakes, mine simply just squeeze in and pop off a little piece here, and they come open like that. And then we can go ahead and lift the wheel off. Okay, on my bike, I've got a quick release, so I just undo the release, spin the nuts out a little bit, and then pull the wheel right off. Okay, the next thing we need to do is put our wheel on, and you want to make sure that you have the cable in the proper place, the notch washer here, all the other washers and the nuts out to the end here, and that this drive side with the cable is on the right side. Otherwise you're going to be going backwards. So there's an indicator on the tire that shows which way the drive goes, but also you can remember this cable on this side goes on the right side of the bike. So you get those out and you kind of squeeze that in there, and in mine it popped in. I didn't have to file the notches out at all. So the notch washer is right here. There's an inner washer, then the notch washer, and then this little washer right here, you can see, kind of goes down like that. So we got these, that one, then this one, and then the nut. So just and tighten that down there, making sure I don't get the cable stuck in anything. And then I can wrench tighten this in just a minute. Can use a regular wrench just to tighten, or I can use a torque wrench. Recommended is 28 foot-pounds. Okay, if your old bike rim had a magnet on it for the speedometer and odometer, you need to take that off and put it on the new wheel, and simply you can measure the distance between the rim and the magnet and put it on the same side as the new wheel. Okay, the next thing we want to do is reattach the brake cable and then look at the brake shoes and make sure they're the right height. On my original rim, it was a little bit higher, so I had to move these down by loosening this nut right here with an Allen wrench, then simply raising up both sides, loosening the nut on the other side, and then retightening them. Then adjust the cable a little bit. There's a nut on the other side that you can adjust the cable, and then retighten everything. Spin your wheel, check for dragging. If there's dragging, you might need to loosen the cable a little more, and then spin it and press the brake, and it works great. All right, in this next step, I'm going to connect the battery with the throttle and the cable, and it's pretty simple. You just take the throttle cable, and on this end, we've got three prong holes of male and female, and you just push it in this way and tighten it. It's got a little flat indentation in there, so you can only put it in one way, which is nice. And then we have our battery multi-pin connector right there. We take the other end of the cable. Again, this one has an indentation in it. So then we just connect it right together. You just hand tighten it down. Then make sure the power switch is on. Then take the throttle cable and you just see if it works. And it's working very nicely. That's full speed. Pretty quiet. Okay, on to our next step. Okay, my next step, I need to figure out how to get this throttle assembly on here. I've got brake levers here, so I may have to put this on the top right here. But first I've got to get the handlebar grip off. On this one I just have to twist it off. It's going to take some time. I just keep twisting and eventually it'll come off. Okay, so what I've had to do is I've had to take off the brake and the gear shift and then put the throttle upside down up here because I've got a lot of gadgets here. One for my GoPro and the gear indicator and the gear shifters and the brake. So this is the best place for me, so I can just put my hand here and throttle up like that. So let's put it all back together and tighten it up. We're getting close to the finish. The next step is to mount the battery. I'm going to mount it right on the back rack here. Makes the most sense for my bike. Run the wires up, zip tie them, and make them look good. Okay, we've got our battery on the back, and I've run the cables underneath the rack, and we're just going to clip them in like that. And this one right here. So those two are secure. And then there's a cable right back here that comes to the front, and it's really nice and tight in there. Now we'll just connect the cables and tie it up. Make sure you leave enough slack in the wheel so it can turn full stop this way and the other way. So we'll turn it all the way the opposite direction and then we'll tie it down. Okay, now that we have all our ties in place, just going to make sure that they're all down the way I want them, and then simply cut off the excess. Okay, it comes with two cap covers for the bolts. Just simply put those on both sides. Okay, last and final step is we're going to go ahead and pump the tire up. 50 to 85 psi is what it says on the side of the tire. So I'll probably bring it up to about 70. See how that feels. Okay, we have the tire all pumped up and the battery is turned on, and we can kind of kick the front wheel up a little bit here, give it a spin, and it's working great. So time to take a ride. All right, the electric wheel is on, 350 watts, and everything's ready to go. And let's see how it works. I'll go down a hill Then I'll come back up without pedaling. Normally you pedal assist, but I'll show you without pedaling. Here we go. Okay, it's working pretty good.